The Embryo Man. Author, Charles Pendelton. Chapter 7. Into the world of work spins mother. Dressed in a bright white nurse's uniform, with her little cap and spotless shoes that were religiously coated every evening at dusk with sonny white shoe polish, she hastened toward the train. How easy it would have been for her to take the car and park it near the station. But mother would hear none of that, for she was carefully monitoring her weight and was much in need of exercise. A brief appearance at the in-and-out shop for a coffee and the morning paper was always for the day. Then it was down the old concrete staircase. Once there, she would stand silently congregating behind the yellow line on the station's platform with other day passengers, gazing at her old Movado wristwatch. The time read 6:40. She would have dipped into her purse for a cigarette had she not quit 3 years ago. Oh, yes, those Benson and Hedges I remember so well. What a terrible fixation it was, and that damn smoke was everywhere. Puffing away like a fiend at the drop of a hat for no reason but to fulfill an addiction. Every time she reached for a cigarette, I would cringe. Whenever she lit one up, I would feel the onset of nausea. If it was cold out, light a cigarette. If she ate too much, she'd light a cigarette. If an electrical fire had started in the basement, I'm pretty sure that before she began looking for ways of exiting the bedroom, she would be clutching a pack of those minty-smelling, cancer-causing little marvels. When I was growing up, she had a systematic way of doing things. There was seldom any change to the usual method of these habits, and so I concluded that they were devised to torture me. On several occasions, a feeling of seasickness overtook me, and I had no other choice than to throw up in the car. That was because whenever my mother lit a cigarette, the windows would either be shut tight or rolled down only about an inch. Must have been some kind of groovy fad they had going on back then in the early 70s, because everyone was doing it. If I'm not mistaken, the name of the game was called Kill the Person You're With. Orphan. I would try to imagine what mother would look like in 40 years if she continued down the path she was headed. And in the back of my mind, the image was always the same. Around the bend, she could hear the train approaching. As it slowed to a screeching halt where other commuters of the morning stood, the doors slid open. Mother wasted no time finding a place to sit. One by one, they got on, and everyone found their respective seats. How unlucky were the people at the New Dorp station who seldom ever got a seat. There, some chose to wait for the express train. "Please step away from the closing doors," said the conductor in a refreshing voice that was interpreted by the intercom as "Besist Sheb Avrayram Teed crushing drawers." Then the bell sounded, and the doors slid closed. Only then did the train slowly begin to pull away from the station. As each stop welcomed more passengers who boarded, some wandered on as if in a robotic trance, while others accepted their chore of duty with affluent grace. There were even a few strangers who appeared so miserable that mother thought they might be happier standing in front of the train than on it. Overall, the ride usually took about 15 minutes, but today, it would be about 20. Before long, mother would be arriving at her destination. Getting off in Clifton, mother walks casually across the street to the Navajo brown building located on a neighboring hillside. It is called the United States Public Health Service Hospital, which requires 11 stops on the Staten Island Rapid Transit line. While the outmoded structure would appear somewhat haunting at night to a passerby, its commodious interior was still bustling with activity. Let us know in the comments to hear the full story. Our story has been published in full book form, which is linked in the video description.